Good morning from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers and I'm back in the wheat field today. So I told you I'd be giving you some updates on how this is going. We are still at it. We harvested about 11 rows the other day, just picking the grain heads off, and thrashed it up and sold it. We got over 15 pounds that we were able to sell. And we're not done thrashing that we've picked, so it's making pretty good this year. But we are doing a new method today that is working amazingly well. I'm not sure if I would be able to show you because there's a sharp knife involved. I'm going to try to show you the steps and then show you how it turns out. All right, maybe I'll get one of the kids to come run the camera for me in a minute. But we went ahead and got a couple of harvesting knives. These are generally used for like broccoli, cabbages, that sort of thing. Slice them off. And we're probably going to destroy these blades out here. But this is working pretty well. So this is the one I've got. The one Brandon's got is a little bit more curved. So what we're doing is grabbing a handful like this and then so my left hand holds it, my right hand holds the knife and just cuts it off. And I just keep doing that until I have a big handful. And then I'm tying it into a shock, basically. And then the kids are taking these and laying them over there in a pile, and we'll take these home. And then, of course, we still have to remove the heads from that. But that at least gets it all out of the field and gets us past the concern about birds eating it and past the concern about it all shattering in the field and reseeding out here and becoming wheat weeds. But you can see the weeds are getting pretty bad in here now, so we are going to start to lose it just because it's going to be grown up in the weeds. So that's an issue now. The birds pecking at it is still an issue, but we have all of this left to harvest. There was some planted over in there that we're probably just going to let the goats graze out. As soon as we get this all done, we'll be moving putting up a fence around and then moving the goats from the house to here to eat this all summer. So that's the process we're using today. Like I say, I'll try to get one of the kids to come over and get a video of it in a little bit. Right now they're getting ahead of us on the strings we're using to tie. They're cutting all those for us and then picking up the bundles for us later. But we've been out here probably less than 20 minutes and we've already got a huge pile of bundles. So this is going much, much faster. You do still have the extra work at home of pulling those heads off, but at least we're sitting in the shade to do that. And we can work on it like in the evenings and that sort of stuff. And so it's not as much of a rush as if it's just out here in the field. So that's what we're doing today, is we're going to see how much of this we can get out of here. All right, we've been at it for an hour, maybe a little over an hour. You can see we're starting to make a dent. If I can get the camera right, we're starting to make a dent in it. And we have almost 60 bundles now. So going much, much faster. And then we'll just take these bundles home. We haven't decided if we will have to sit down and pull the heads off the bundles. What we're hoping to try to do is to put just the heads of the bundles down in our thrasher and beat the wheat off without having to sit and remove those heads. But even if we have to remove heads, this gets it out of the field and gets us on to the next project, because now we can work on it slowly without it sitting in the field. So like I said, it's been about an hour, maybe a little better than an hour, and we are starting to make good progress. Our knives are getting dull fast, which we expected would happen, but it's still much quicker this way than picking by hand, or picking the heads by hand. So we're going to keep after it. All right, so that's what it's looking like. We're just bringing the bundles up here and stacking them on this tarp so they stay somewhat clean. Some pretty good bundles, and like I say, we're hoping to take these heads and put that into our thrasher and beat the grain off and possibly still save some of that straw, because it is kind of handy to have some of that wheat straw, and it's pretty hard to find wheat straw around here. It's not as common, but it works much better for bedding than hay because it actually stays dry. Hay just holds yuck. So we'd like to save some of the straw if we can. But that's what we've got. I think it is 68 bundles now. And we're going to take a lunch break and then hit it again. All right, so Gracie's going to try to get a video of what this looks like. My gripping muscles are getting tired after 80 something bundles today. So I've started taking my twine, my hay string, and I'm just laying it on the ground. And if I lay it between two harvested rows, they work like a cradle for me. So between here and here, and I'll stack my wheat there as I cut it. So same process we've been using all day. Gracie, you might have to come closer. I'm grabbing a handful and then slicing it. I'm going to get a pretty good handful. And then I stack it in my cradle. So I'm going to do that until I've got a nice full bundle.
Okay.
Watch my feet in here. I want to chop my toes off. Not that my knife is that sharp anymore at this point. Oh, yeah, not sharp. I'm going to go home tonight and sharpen knives. So we've got 86 bundles, is that correct?
85.
85 bundles in the pile.
In 2 hours?
I
I think 2 hours.
think it's about 2 hours. You still watching?
Yeah.
Let me see. The worst is when there's greenbrier thorns in a handful.
Yeah. That would be pretty bad.
Come on. Dull knife. We started out going straight down the rows. That works pretty good, but you get sort of tight in there. So I just started clearing a whole space here. You see what I'm doing? I'm paying attention. Turn it off for a minute. I'm moving slow.
Okay, last handful.
Takes a few minutes to get enough to make it a bundle. Like I say, our knives are getting dull and we're getting tired at this point in the day. Alright, so once it's stacked up like that, you can see it's held together by that old row. And then we can just take our hay twine. It's a little bit short piece of twine, so we'll see how well this does. Okay, see if I can get back around that one more time. There we go.
Now it's 86 bundles.
So we'll get that tied off. And that is what we're doing all through the field. We started out carrying the bundles the whole time. This method gets us a bigger bundle. And like I say, it's getting rough on that arm muscle to hold them the whole time. So that works good. And that's what we're doing. We just tied up bundle number 100 for the day. It's a little after 2 o'clock now. It's getting pretty warm. So I think that's where we're going to call it a day. It's really only a couple or 3 hours of work out here. But the bending over and all gets to be a lot after a while. So we're going to go around and check grapevines that we've been seeing blooms on, and we want to see if any of them have actually set any fruit yet. It would be a while before it's ready, but we just want to go check a couple little things like that. And then we've got some major bug situations going on in the tomatoes, and so we're going to spray those. And that's about it for the farm today. Still plenty of work to do at home, but that's about it for the farm. So you can see our 100 bundles back here. That's going to be a lot of wheat to thrash out, so that's what we have to do over the next few days at home. All right, I said we were going to check grapes. We have only just started to check grapes. This is the first place we've stopped to check. And we have loads of green grapes in here. They're hard to see because they blend in with the vines. That's a good cluster there. But they are here, and I am super excited. So I made grape jelly with wild grapes last year for the first time. And I gotta say, I don't care anything about regular grape jelly ever again. Look, back up in there. They're in here. So hopefully nothing gets to them and we get ripe grapes in, I think it was like July that we got those last year. Somebody gave them to us. Yeah, that's exciting. All right, we're finishing up for the day. We've driven all over the place checking grapes and plums. And we are working on, I'm working on checking the last few grapes here. Brandon's working on spraying those, they're potato beetles getting our tomatoes right now. So potatoes, tomatoes are related. And it's the Colorado potato beetles that are really getting the tomatoes right now. So I'm checking the grapes and he's spraying those. We like to spray later in the day when the bees are not very active. We kind of go through and check for bees first and then spray. So that's happening. I am not finding very many grapes in our woods, which is actually a good thing. There's lots of vines, but I'm not finding the grapes on them. And that's actually a good thing because hopefully in a few weeks we'll have the goats moved over here. But that's what we're doing to wrap up the day. So we spent most of the day picking wheat, and then we checked for plums and blackberries and grapes. And now we're wrapping up so we can head home. That does not mean we're done for the day. We'll go home and we still have all the feeding to do and wheat thrashing to do. But that's where we're at for now. So thank y'all for stopping by the farm today. I hope you enjoyed your visit. I hope you didn't work as hard as we did today. Y'all be sure and tell your friends about us and come back when you can stay longer.